Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football. Welcome back to a big evening live show. So much news has just come in the last hour and a half. I'd say from the likes of the Muppeteers, Romano, all the credible outlets out there. And a lot is just going on. And I have to say it. Someone said this in the chat earlier. I think it was like Man United fan page or someone said in the chat earlier that they expect a lot of deals are going to happen because if you think about what's going on right now, not much has happened in regards to transfer business across Europe. This time last year, more than twice the amount of money had been spent. And when clubs spend money, and that means another club sells, which means another club has money, which has more money to spend. And you see players that were priced at like £60 million at the beginning of the window now going for £40 million because clubs all need to sell. And then when clubs sell, they have money to spend, which means they buy other clubs' players, which means those clubs now have money to spend. And it's like, because of the lack of movement in June and July, it looks like there's going to be a massive amount of transfer movement coming in August. And hopefully that relates to United, because what we want to do spending-wise can depend on sales. We're getting updates on McTominay, we're getting updates on Casemiro, we're getting updates on Eriksen, we're getting big updates on Ugarte, and obviously big boosts in terms of Ugarte because PSG need to sell. So let me take some water. So basically, United could be willing to sell Eriksen and Casemiro on the cheap because their wages are high, ready to finalise the Ligt and Mazraoui deals once Wan-Bissaka's done, and that all looks 99%. The Ligt Mazraoui Wan-Bissaka looks 99%. Romano hints that we want two midfielders. That's why Amrabat's looked at on top of Ugarte, but if the sales happen for Casemiro, other things can happen. So a lot is going on. So let's talk about this as well. So this is different. So obviously, unless you're aware, João Neves has gone to PSG. That is announced. But we know that João Neves to PSG is a big trigger in regards to Ugarte to United, because now he will be starting where Ugarte starts, which means Ugarte is on the bench, which means there's less need for Ugarte. They wanted to sell him anyway, but now that he's on the bench, they need to sell him because he's not exactly going to play a lot, which means his value would go down and they're not going to get more money from next season. He doesn't suit what the manager wants to do. They also need to get a bit of that money back, because not only have they signed João Neves today, William Pacho I think it's William Pacho, but Roman said William Pacho to PSG. Here we go. Agreement in place with PSG and Eintracht Frankfurt. €40 million fixed fee plus add-ons. 5-year deal. Pacho and payment terms agreed. Documents to be reviewed in the next 24 hours. So then there's been a here we go in regards to Pacho. Now this is really interesting, and why this is really interesting is one, they've signed Pacho and they've signed João Neves, which means they now have to sell. And Ugarte is top of the list on sales. So this gives United a massive boost. But I want to talk about why this is really interesting to an extent, because we obviously were linked to Pacho, left back, left centre-back. Would have been a great sign for United, someone I wanted United to get. But when Liverpool inquired about this guy, Frankfurt made it very clear in June, €60 million. Frankfurt made it very clear in June, €60 million for William Pacho. He's now gone for €40 million. And this isn't the first example of that. This is the market being slow. This has been the slowest summer transfer window we've had in years. This has been the slowest and deadest summer transfer window we've had in years, because so many clubs need to sell because of FFP and restrictions. And all of a sudden, it's normally if you don't buy the player in June or July, the price is going to go up in August because teams don't want to sell. We're getting at a point where everyone was trying to get this player in June and July. They were like €60 million. They realised no one was going to pay €60 million. And they've now had to accept a €40 million fee, which is what we were probably hoping Everton were going to do with Bramthwaite. But Everton are like, nah, it's Man United, it's not PSG. But it shows that these clubs are now looking to sell. And now these clubs are selling, they're going to spend, which means other clubs are going to sell and get money from that. And there's going to be, I think, a big domino effect in the market. Like the transfer market has been so dead right now. Let's not act like this has been an exciting transfer window. Man United have probably done some of the... West Ham are winning the transfer window. Let's be honest. West Ham are winning the transfer window because not many people have cash to splash. But once someone buys a player, another team could buy a player, another team could buy a player, because clubs are treading carefully with FFP. And the problem with Man United is, well, we need to sell, but other clubs aren't looking to buy, but now other clubs are selling and looking to buy. There's a domino effect. So we're going to talk about the United news. I'm going to get into the stories. But West Ham are winning the window. And that tells you everything you need to know about how this transfer window has not been going. I mean, Late Como, they're doing well as well. But it's been a slow window and it's starting to move. I mean, look, we've been linked to Frenkie de Jong today. I will talk about it, but I wasn't putting it anywhere near the beginning of the video. We have been linked to Frenkie de Jong, $35 million deal. I mean, look, Frenkie de Jong and Ugarte, you would take those two midfield signings and go, yes, please. But I'm kind of over the Frenkie de Jong thing. But guys, before we get right into the news, because we've got all this news on Ugarte, we've got this news on McTominay, we've got this news on Casemiro and Eriksen, we've got more news on McTominay, we've got more info on Casemiro, more info from the Muppeteers, Ligt and Mazraoui. We've got a lot of news to get into. But before I dive into these stories, please do go ahead and hit that like button. And of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new and want to stay up to date with all the latest news. I'm 14 subscribers away from 87.9k. So please do subscribe if you're new. I will be back with a 10-minute roundup tonight. But let's dive into the news, let's dive into the stories, and then I will get into the live chat, guys, because I've seen some really good comments in the live chat. But I think PSG getting Pacho for 40 million euros, shows where the market is and shows that market fees being lowered. And I think that PSG are most definitely now going to accept a lower fee for Ugarte. So, what has been said in regards to Man United's midfield plans from Fabrizio Romano today? So this is coming from Fabrizio Romano today. Manchester United's good relationship with Manuel Ugarte's agent, Jorge Mendes, will be very important in getting the green light for this deal to happen. Manchester United's full focus is on Manuel Ugarte in terms of midfield signings. After that, if they can still spend money on players, Amrabat is definitely one of the targets. If a bid of 30 million guarantees is made from McTominay, United will consider the sale even though he's seen as a valuable squad player. So let's quickly talk about what Romano has said in regards to these deals, in regards to these movements. Man United have a great relationship with Ugarte's agent Mendes. We know that. Everyone knows that. We also know that Ugarte has agreed to join United. He's agreed personal terms with United, and he's been informed by United. We're waiting for some sales. We're going to accelerate your deal. We know Ugarte's turned down other clubs for Man United. We know Ugarte's reportedly told his teammates he's going to Man United. And we know that PSG wants Ugarte gone. The problem with Ugarte is PSG were trying to say, well, you know what? We paid 50 million for him. We want 50 million back, even though we want to get rid of him after one season. And Man United was saying, no, 42 million pounds. You make an 8 million loss, or nah. And then PSG said, well, what about a loan with an option to buy at a bit of a higher price? Man United well, actually, we need to spend on Ligt, and if we don't sell a midfielder, we can only afford to do loans, so maybe they'll drive for Ugarte on loan. But the interesting thing said by Romano is he said Ugarte's a full focus. We've looked at Zubimendi, we've looked at Fofana. He's not said anything about De Jong, which I'm kind of relieved about because I cannot go through that saga again. But he's saying if the money is there, Amrabat could happen on top of Ugarte. Now, if the money is really there, I'm talking Casemiro and McTominay sale, both gone, then I think there could be room for two midfield signings, someone a little bit better than Amrabat. I think deep down, Man United want two midfield signings, a fullback and a centre-back. That's the four signings United want to make. The Ligt, Mazraoui, Ugarte, and one more signing depending on sales. And as I said earlier, the market is moving, transfers are speeding up. There is a real movement in the transfer window right now as well. So let's dive into the stories. Let's dive into what could be happening in regards to the outs. Also, guys, we've got over 900 people watching, so I want to hit 500 likes by the end of the stream. So it'd be absolutely amazing if you can hit that like button and then subscribe if you're new. But let's talk about this as well. Please don't drag us to the De Jong saga. I will talk about De Jong briefly at the end of the video, but there's a reason why I want to get through all the news before I even talk about De Jong, because you know how we feel about De Jong. Scott McTominay's departure is looking the most likely in midfield, but a sale is far from happening. Man United are open to selling both Casemiro and Eriksen and will accept a lower fee for these players due to their wage demands. Man United will demand 30 million from McTominay. Despite not much major movement so far, United's midfield could still undergo some major surgery in closing stages of the summer window. So what we know here, and this has been said before by multiple outlets, is that Man United wanted originally 35 million for Casemiro. Man United now know that, okay, Saudi aren't really coming in for Casemiro. He's on big wages. Man United are more than willing to accept lower offers for Casemiro than first expected. So we just spoke about William Pacho. Liverpool went in for him at the beginning of the window. Frankfurt said nothing under 60 million euros. Frankfurt said 60 million euros. 2 months later, William Pacho's gone for 40 million euros. Man United made it very clear they want 35 million for Casemiro. Man United can't sell Casemiro. Saudi aren't coming in. Man United want to sell Casemiro because he's on £20 million a year and he's not had a good pre-season and Ineos want him out. Man United may now accept a 22 million deal for Casemiro, which it seems cheap, but then they also save 20 million a year in wages. They also will accept 5 million for Eriksen. You can get 10 million for Eriksen. You can get 30 million for Casemiro, but you can't if you're Manchester United and you can't if you're on those kind of wages. So Man United may now say, Casemiro, Eriksen, we're going to let them go on the cheap. If the bids come in for Casemiro and Eriksen, and that is the big if the bids come in. The bids have come in for McTominay. The bids have come in for Wan-Bissaka, but have the bids come in for Casemiro? No. Have the bids come in for Eriksen? No. Only loan bids for Eriksen, which is silly because he's got 1 year left on his contract. So they're basically saying go for free. It's the same with Mejbri. So if the bids come in, United could be saying, you know what, Casemiro, you know what, Eriksen, you can go for cheap because you're on high wages. McTominay, we want 30 million for, and you can't blame us wanting 30 million for McTominay. Smith Rowe, who's not scored a goal in 2 years, is going for 35 million pounds and is massively injury prone. Okay. Elliot Anderson, who's never scored a goal for Newcastle midfielder, is going to 35 million pounds to Nottingham Forest. You can't blame Man United for wanting 30 million for McTominay because Man United think, well, actually, McTominay coming off the bench, he can offer some value. Does McTominay really offer value in terms of the way we want to play long term? No. Does he offer value as a starter? No. Should we cash in on him? Yes. But you can understand why United want 30 million for McTominay. He's on low wages. You can understand we want 15 million pounds for Wan-Bissaka. That's fair fees. That we should be able to get fair fees, even though they've both got 1 year left on their contract. Casemiro and Eriksen, because of the substantial wages that no one else would give them anywhere near that, that's where we're in a position we have to go weaker. Now, interestingly, Team Talk mentioned that despite not much movement so far, United's midfield could still undergo some major surgery in the closing stages of the summer transfer window. There's a lot of expectations coming in that there's going to be some surgery in midfield. You've got PSG signing João Neves and Pacho today. They've announced João Neves and they've signed Pacho today. Here we go. You've got, obviously, this whole situation happening right now with Romano saying we're fully focused on Ugarte, green lights there, for the deal to happen. We're waiting for PSG to lower the fee. We're waiting for some outgoings, but we're now getting some advancements and outgoings. There's expected to be another bid from Fulham for McTominay, and there's expected to be some surgery in midfield. It's also said that Manchester United are more than open to finding a solution for Casemiro as it stands. There's no official offers, and that Manchester United have set a low asking price of just £4.23 million for Eriksen, and United are working hard to get him off the books. Both Anderlecht and Ajax are interested. Now, Romano is saying that Casemiro exit, there's nothing concrete, but United are open to finding solutions for Casemiro. So we've got reports coming in that, McTominay's departure looks the most likely, but United are now willing to sell both Casemiro and Eriksen for lower fees. United are more than open to finding a solution for Casemiro, says Fabrizio Romano, but we haven't got offers, we haven't got concrete interest, and that United are working hard to get Eriksen out. So now we know that PSG are ready to do business for Ugarte. We're in talks for Ugarte. Ugarte's agreed to come. We've told Ugarte we're going to get him, all of this and that. We've seen that McTominay sort of moves going on. We see the Eriksen Casemiro stuff is heating up. I feel like the transfer window is beginning. I feel like it's not been the most exciting transfer window. Not lots of businesses is happened. Not lots have gone on, but I feel like things are moving. If Romano says anything about Frenkie de Jong, I believe it. He was the only one who kept saying Frenkie de Jong to us wasn't happening two summers ago. Yeah. The thing is, we will talk about Frenkie de Jong at the end of the live stream, but as I've said, I don't believe any of it, but it is a story going about. But unless Romano says it, it's very much a thing where I just don't really care. Every time I link to Frenkie de Jong, I'm not going to get excited. It's just such an obvious. Do you know what? There's players that are linked to United all the time. Rabiot? It's like his agent's clearly linking us to him. We had a look at Rabiot. We got offered a chance to sign Rabiot. Are we moving on Rabiot? No. Has anyone reliable said we're going to make a move for Rabiot? No. Rabiot's more likely than De Jong because of the wages and he's a free agent. But there's certain players that we're always linked to every summer, like Milinkovic-Savic in the past, where sometimes you don't get excited by any story about that player because you've not had a tier one reliable source saying, yeah, United are going to pursue that player. We could have get Varane, I agree. If Casemiro's on 20 million a year, there's no chance of him leaving. De Jong, 600k a week in wages. Yeah, and again, I don't think anything's going to happen with De Jong to United because you look at the wages that he's on. No updates on Lindelof leaving, but the expectation is Lindelof will leave this summer. Actually, I will tell you this now quickly because I do want to get into the next story because it's exciting. But the feeling is, and apparently this was something I read somewhere, and I don't know if it was an opinion piece or a news piece, but it said something along the lines of, Victor Lindelof's open to leaving United, but Ineos believes signing De Ligt will give him that extra push. Lindelof's open to leaving United, but he knows if he stays and runs down his contract, he can get a bit of a signing boost and he'll get more options and stuff. But Lindelof also wants to play. So Man United think, well, Lindelof is sort of in a position where he's thought, well, actually, they won't sign another centre-back if I stay. They need to sell me to sign another centre-back, so I'll stay because then I'll be third choice because Jora's injured. Lindelof's sitting there thinking, I'm going to be third choice centre-back because Jora's injured and he's only 18 and Varane is gone. I might as well stay, run down my contract, get a big signing bonus, even though there's interest in me. But Ineos are thinking, well, if we sign De Ligt, that puts Lindelof right now at fourth choice centre-back, but when Jora's back, fifth choice centre-back, and potentially even sixth choice centre-back to sign Evans, if we don't have the injury issues we had last year, Lindelof's barely going to touch the ball. Man United think that them signing De Ligt and Mazraoui because obviously Mazraoui can play fullback either way as well, so that's less chance of Lindelof even getting in the 11, may push Lindelof to leave. So there's an expectation Lindelof could be sold, there's interest there, but Lindelof's not bothered about leaving because Euro's injured, he's only 18, he's a straight swap for Varane. Lindelof feels he's going to get a lot of minutes if he's fit, might as well stay. But if Lindelof sees that he's even further down the pecking order and he's really not going to get minutes because we signed Matthias de Ligt, he'll go. Lindelof thinks if he stays, we won't get de Ligt. He could go get a big signing bonus, bish bash bosh next year. Apparently, and look, and I think this might be an opinion piece, but Ineos are saying let's sign de Ligt and then that will help us sell Lindelof. They believe that signing de Ligt will almost help them sell Lindelof because Lindelof will be like, okay, yeah, I should probably go if I want to play. Like this, they clearly don't want me here. So apparently that is some kind of approach that Manchester United could be taking. Guys, we've got 1,200 people watching, so please do go ahead and hit that like button if you have not already. We're going for 500 likes by the end of the show. And of course, subscribe down below if you're new. The goal is to hit 90,000 subscribers by the end of the transfer window. We're on 87,891 subscribers, 9 away from 87.9k. So if we can hit 90k by the end of the window, that would be unbelievable. So do subscribe if you're new as well. Lindelof also collecting massive wage, not even being fit half the time anymore. Yeah, Lindelof's wage isn't anywhere near the level of Maguire. But it's a wage that, he's not going to get elsewhere. Like, he's easier to sell because his wage isn't like Maguire level. But Lindelof's not going to get those kind of wages elsewhere if he went to another club as well. So let's dive into some more news. Let's dive into some more stories. Dialogue remains open between Fulham and Manchester United over the transfer of Scott McTominay. Fulham are yet to decide if they will go back with an improved offer. United would have to compromise on their asking price for Fulham to come back to the table, according to Sky. So, Fulham, McTominay. If and out is going to happen, this is the one to watch. We're back from tour. Man United want to bring in midfielders. Man United almost are prioritising selling McTominay. Now, the reason United are almost prioritising selling McTominay right now is for the fact that it is 25 million, let's say realistically, because it's United, pure profit. Eriksen, 5 million. Casemiro, can we even sell him? Maguire, can we even sell him? Anthony, can we even sell him? Sancho, can we even sell him? High wages, very little interest. Wan-Bissaka, 15 million gone, but that's a loss. McTominay is the player that's going to unlock a transfer fund for United. It's going to be 25 to 30 million pure profit. And Ineos know that if they want to do any real genuine business, and Ten Hag knows this, and Ten Hag won't start McTominay in strongest 11, he's just a good squad player to have, he's a good attitude, he's a good character, McTominay needs to be sold. So the deal that Ineos want to do is McTominay being sold. The deal that Man United want to do is McTominay being sold. That is the sale they're focusing on, and it's probably after Wan-Bissaka the most likely as of now. Now, does McTominay go? Does he want to stay and fight for his place? There's always those questions over that. But United want to sell McTominay. Fulham want to buy McTominay. This is the one to watch for the week. This is the one that I think make or breaks our transfer plans. And I said that in my video earlier. What happens with McTominay is going to have a massive impact on what Man United do in the transfer window as well. Fulham need to step up 25 to 30 million is more than fair. Exactly. Fulham apparently made a 20. So some sources say Fulham's bid was 20 million. Other sources say the bid was 23 million. But if you spent 35 million on Emile Smith-Rowe that spent 2 seasons on completely injured and not scored a goal in 2 seasons for Arsenal, you can spend 25 million on Scott McTominay. Conor Gallagher's going for 35 plus million. Elliot Anderson, who's not scored a goal, is going for 35 plus million. You can get 25 million from McTominay. 30 million, but he's got 1 year left on his contract. 25 million, 26 million. We can. Fulham are just saying it's Man United. Oh, they're kind of desperate to sell because they want to buy Ugarte. Maybe we can get them on the cheap. They're trying it on because it's United, and this is the problem. This is the problem right now. The problem right now is clubs know we could try it on because it's United. And that's something Ineos have got to do. Ineos have got to undo that. There's 3 years of this messy thing going on as well. Sorry, I just got to send something, but it's nothing to do with United. This is the problem we're getting. Fulham think, well, we want McTominay. Oh, it's Man United. We'll give Arsenal 35 million for Smith-Rowe because Arsenal sell. Other clubs are thinking we'll give Chelsea 35 million for Gallagher because Chelsea can sell. But no one's going to United. We'll give them 30 million for McTominay, which is a completely fair price. To think, well, Man United can't sell 20 million for McTominay. If McTominay was on Casemiro, Eriksen level wages, I get it. But McTominay is probably one of the only players, probably one of the 3 players at Man United that are probably on a fair wage right now. Like, generally, he's one of 3 players at United that are probably on a fair wage right now, McTominay. So there's no excuse to be given in for silly bids. With how tight we are with FFP and PSR, we simply can't keep all this deadwood. I think United will push for that McTominay sale without pushing because they don't want to look desperate to Fulham. But I think those at Ineos, if you look at it from a logical sense of who can go and who can stay, I think there's a possibility they do really look to push for that McTominay sale. I mean, I'll share something here with you guys. So let me just stop this one here. So let me get. Oh no! I almost. So I said this because this was my real, and it's not even realistic because we can't even sell. But this was my more realistic transfer thing. Pellistri 10 million. I think that's more than fair. Mazraoui and Eriksen 5 million because of the 1 year left on their deal. McTominay 30 million. Lindelof 10 million. Wan-Bissaka 50 million. At best, this is probably what we can do realistically at best in sales. Pellistri disappointing, Mazraoui disappointing, Eriksen disappointing, Lindelof disappointing, Wan-Bissaka that's straight on Mazraoui. The only player that's going to give us funds and pure profit is McTominay. So I generally do believe that Ineos will be sitting there focusing on a sale for Scott McTominay as well. Clubs just think United is a club they can take advantage of, so they take the mick. They absolutely do. They absolutely do. That's the thing, and I think that's the thing Ineos have got to undo. I think this window and next summer, these next 4 windows across, now January, summer, next January, I think Ineos are in a position where, they need to sell, but they also need to send a message to other clubs. Ineos are in a position where they need to build a reputation these next 4 windows. These next 3 or 4 windows, we need to build a reputation. And once we build a reputation, clubs won't start mucking about with us. But because we've been run by idiots for 18 years, we have this reputation in the transfer window of, it's Man United, so bid 10 million less. It's Man United, so add 10 million more. If we want to buy a player, it's Man United, add 10 million more. If we want to sell a player, bid 10 million less. Do you know what? There's only 2 players we've made profit on. 2 players we've made profit on since Alex Ferguson. Daniel James and Daley Blind. The Daley Blind was about 1 million in profit. The only player we've actually made a proper profit on is Daniel James since Alex Ferguson left. Absolutely embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. And that's Omar Barada has a lot of work to do. Dan Ashworth, Jason Wilcox, they have a lot of work to do. They have a lot to focus on as well. Alice, what do you think of the asking if you put on Wan-Bissaka? We've put 50 million on Wan-Bissaka. West Ham on a 10 million deal. Wan-Bissaka apparently is requesting some of the transfer fees as well. Wan-Bissaka's only on 4 million a year, so maybe we'll give him like a 1 million of that. It's just West Ham, and again, just playing around, thinking, can we get Wan-Bissaka on the cheap? If I'm going to be totally honest with you guys, I think based off the fact that West Ham have now completed the deal for Fulkrug and Guido Rodriguez and Somerville. They are now fully focused on Wan-Bissaka. They had 3 other deals they've just got over the line the last few days. I do think that would advance, but even West Ham are trying it on with us. In terms of further info, Romano has confirmed there's no concrete interest from Saudi clubs in Casemiro, despite lots of talks being held back in February, March time. It seems that Saudi have gone off Casemiro. McTominay could choose to stay and fight for his place next season at United, with a move away yet to materialise. And Man United were offered a chance to sign Rabiot this summer, but nothing's advanced at this point as they are focused on Ugarte, and Rabiot wants a salary of more than 7 million euros net per season. We also got updates from the Mappeteers saying that United has checked again for Braithwaite, but they seem to be focused on De Ligt. Manchester United expected initially that they would be able to get De Ligt deal done for 33 million to 35 million up front, with some add-ons taking it to about 40 million. But Manchester United were willing to reach closer to the 50 million euro mark for De Ligt, but with add-ons, not the base fee. Bayern Munich want 42 million base fee for De Ligt. We're willing to pay 42 million for De Ligt, but we start up front with about 35 million and we put 7 million in add-ons. Man United have a feeling that could maybe be negotiated with just Bayern really eager to hurry that deal up, and Bayern wanting to get Tar in and their injury to their centre-back, our injury to Yoro, all of that stuff as well. And that Matthijs de Ligt does remain a key target for United. Matthijs de Ligt remains the main target for United, despite checking again for Braithwaite. And what I think's happened is we've gone in for Braithwaite again, because Braithwaite has always been United's priority and focus over De Ligt. United have always wanted Braithwaite more than they wanted De Ligt. So Man United probably thought, okay, let's just make one more try for Braithwaite, see if Everton are going to lower the fee, like what happened with Frankfurt and Pacho. It's 15 million less for PSG than it would have been in June. Let's see if the fee's been lowered. Okay, Everton really aren't going to budge. Let's make De Ligt the main priority, and we'll leave Braithwaite maybe for next season when Maguire goes. For me, Lindelof goes, De Ligt comes in, Maguire goes next season, Braithwaite comes in, Braithwaite, De Ligt, Yoro, Martinez. That's our centre-back sorted if they can stay fit for next season. That's the movement they're done. That's what you want to see as well. Do you think Fofana could happen? Look, there's not much going on with Fofana. I'd like Fofana to happen, but it's quiet. The deal hasn't happened. It's not done. He's not gone to Milan despite the agreement. So we could potentially hijack it, but there's nothing about it out in the media in the moment as well. Guys, let's go for 500 likes. So please do go ahead and hit that like button if you have not already. And of course, subscribe down below if you are new. We will give you the latest updates on the likes of the Ligt and Mazraoui. It was said here. Matthijs de Ligt and Mazraoui's camp are positive they will end up joining Manchester United. The players are only waiting for United. The feeling is that of confidence for the signings of Mazraoui and de Ligt. Ineos believe the two solutions are perfect, all things considered. Some patience is needed, but Manchester United fans can be confident of both de Ligt and Mazraoui. So Romano again is saying, Romano has basically come out and said today, again, for the 5th time, yeah, basically, Man United believe they're going to sign de Ligt and Mazraoui. Bayern believe they're going to sell de Ligt and Mazraoui. De Ligt and Mazraoui believe that United is patience. And that's the thing. It is patience at the moment. It's annoying. It's long. It's a bit of this. It's a bit of that. But it is just essentially patience with de Ligt and with Mazraoui. We've just got to be a little bit patient with the deal. It's kind of like we sort of know it's happening, but we've just sort of got to just wait for it to speed along a bit here and there. Like, we kind of know it's happening. We sort of know it's happening, but we're being slow, and it's very much once that Wan-Bissaka here we go hits, I think a lot happens. Once the Wan-Bissaka here we go hits, I think a lot happens as well. Let's dive into the next news. Let's dive into the next stories. There was quite a lot to talk about. Big up Diego in the chat. 352 likes, guys. Let's go for 500 likes. We've got nearly 1,300 people in the chat right now, so that would be amazing as well. So let's dive back into some stories. Let's dive back into the news. If you've just joined the show right now, we're just giving you an update. PSG have announced João Neves, and they've also got here we go for William Pacho. So now that they've got 2 players in, the PSG need to sell, which means the Ugarte breakthrough is expected. Romano confirmed our good relationship with Ugarte, and also the fact that we're looking at not just Ugarte, but Amrabat on top of that, but we need some sales. It's been confirmed that United are looking to potentially sell Casemiro and Eriksen on the cheap, get them gone, and sell McTominay. And if that is the case, there could be some major movement. You know, Team Talk said major surgery in the closing stages of the summer transfer window could happen. If we do get those sales, there could be some midfield madness, but it's all relying on the sales. But these 2 movements here, the here we go, could allow for some Ugarte movement. The McTominay, Casemiro, Eriksen situation could allow for some midfield madness coming in. And United are looking for solutions for both Casemiro and Eriksen. There's also new dialogue between Fulham and McTominay. Man United expecting Fulham to make a new bid for McTominay as well, was said yesterday, but there isn't any concrete interest in Casemiro yet. There isn't any proof that McTominay is going to leave United yet, which means that there could be madness, but it's all kind of up in the air in regards to that and what could be happening at United as well. How is PSG's FFP standing? They did save Mbappe's huge salary and almost 100 million loyalty bonus had he stayed. I mean, I think PSG are in a position where they have to sell. It's been said now they've got João Neves and Majiggy, and they're also looking at Nico Williams. They're also looking at wingers. They haven't actually got the Mbappe replacement in. PSG want to sign an Mbappe replacement. Kvaratskhelia, Sancho, Nico Williams, Sane, all players they've been linked to. PSG want to bring in a new player in attack, and it said that they may have to sell to do that as well. Guys, this is big. This is big. It's not a done deal, but this we were just talking about McTominay. Let me get this up on the screen. This is big. For me, this is big because this has come from Muppeteers, a very good source. This hasn't come from just a normal source. The Muppeteers have said just now, Scott McTominay is now willing to join Fulham. Scott McTominay is now willing to join Fulham via United Truthful Twitter account. Give them a follow. They put out good stuff. This is big because we know that Fulham are going to make another bid for McTominay. We know that Fulham want to sign McTominay. We want to know that we can sell McTominay. But what were we talking about 2 minutes ago? There's a suggestion that McTominay is open to leave. There's a feeling McTominay may be open to leave. But we've had no real indication or genuine reliable source saying McTominay could be willing to leave. It's now coming out from the Muppeteers that Erik ten Hag would be willing to sell Scott McTominay to be able to spend what he needs to move forward this summer. McTominay is now willing to join Fulham. That given that Wan-Bissaka's in the final year of his contract, United might have to give him a payoff, and that Wan-Bissaka is still expected to join West Ham. It's close. We've now got the Muppeteers coming in with 2 updates here. Let me refresh United Truthful. This is probably one of the best Twitter accounts to follow for United News, by the way. But they've said this from the Mappeteers. Erik ten Hag would be willing to sell Scott McTominay to be able to spend what he needs to move forward. They've said this, and then they said Scott McTominay is now willing to join Fulham more than before. So we could get some interesting movements coming in now on McTominay. Because as said, we've had no information to really suggest, that McTominay will go. We've always said, once if we sell McTominay to Fulham for 30 million, but he does a Harry Maguire and says he's not leaving. Laurie Whitwell said Man United believed that McTominay could be open to the move, but the Mappeteers have said, well, look, Fulham are expected to come back in for McTominay, but it's not known. It's not known what's going on. It's not known what's going on. Do you know what I mean? With McTominay. It's not known. But now we're getting interesting insight coming out saying, you know what? McTominay is willing to join Fulham. And as I said in my video earlier, I don't know if you watched my video earlier, it was more opinion piece than news. But I said, Man United selling Scott McTominay massively changes the transfer window. Man United's transfer window, right now, if we sell McTominay, will look a lot better than it is. What I'm saying is, we can get Ugarte on loan, we can get Mazraoui and Ligt in. If, let's say, we sell Wan-Bissaka, Ugarte on loan, Mazraoui and Ligt is the best our transfer window is going to look. But if we sell McTominay, Mazraoui, Ugarte, Ligt, and another midfield signing, that could massively push us up a level, because Ugarte may not necessarily fix all our issues because of issues in possession, and United can look another level. And now we've got insight coming in saying that McTominay could be willing to join Fulham. And as Alex said, this deal was pure profit. Why can't I speak today? This deal was pure profit. 30 million for McTominay. Let's say, you know what, Fulham give us 26 million for McTominay. Let's be realistic. Let's say Fulham give us 26 million for McTominay. Random number. That pure profit is like getting 40 million for Casemiro. Probably not because of Casemiro's wages and the money you save. But that's what I mean in terms of the pure, because it's an academy player, because it's a homegrown player, that money will go almost £10 million further. It will go, and that will give us the leniency to spend and be a bit more ambitious in the transfer market as well. We've got 1,300 people watching, guys. Please do hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. I will try and slow down. Guys, we are 8 subscribers away from 87.9k. I'm on 87,892 subscribers. We are 8 subscribers away from 87.9k. So if we could hit that by the end of the live stream, that would be absolutely amazing. I go live every single sort of morning, and then I go live every single afternoon, covering all the United news, engaging with you guys, getting your opinions in, just talking. And then around 10 p.m. every evening, between 9:30 and 10 p.m. every evening, I do something called the 10-minute Manchester United transfer roundup. And that is where I round up all the Man United news into a 10-minute video bulletin. So all the news that will come out between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. after my live, and then all the news that was relevant that came out earlier in the day, I round up into 10 minutes. So if someone doesn't have time to watch 2 45-minute live shows, they can just watch my roundup at the end of the day as well if you do miss the live show. So do subscribe if that sounds like your thing. Of course, hit the like button. We're going for 90k by the end of August, which is ambitious, but I think we could do it. And I am going to get back into the news and back into the talk as well. But yeah, do hit the like button as well. 100k is obviously the goal, would be amazing as well. Someone said what? So there's some weird questions going on as well. So far, one striker has said about this that's injured. Where is there any rejoice? And look, you know, we've got 2 good signings in early, but one's injured, one's just a backup striker, but the striker is injured. So glad we got Xerxes in. And I'm really happy with the Xerxes and Euro signings, the right kind of signings. 2 players I would have signed, don't get me wrong. But yeah, we need signings that we know are going to make an impact now. You sign Ligt, you sign Ugarte, they make an instant impact. And you sign McTominay, there's funds to bring in someone else that makes an instant impact. I'd love Fofana. If I'm going to be honest, I think McTominay gets sold and we get Amrabat and Ugarte, which isn't the most exciting, but it definitely gives us a little bit of depth there as well. But Erik ten Hag would be willing to sell McTominay to the Mappeteers. McTominay is now more open to joining Fulham than before, said the Mappeteers. And then just now, the Mappeteers have also said that Wan-Bissaka is still expected to join West Ham. And that Mappeteers have also said Manchester United should be making another offer for De Ligt in the coming days. So the Mappeteers have really come in with a big update here. Not that one. Not that one. The Mappeteers are coming with a big update here, saying that Manchester United should be making another offer for De Ligt in the next few days. So there's definitely a lot of news and a lot of stories and advancements coming in as well. Alice, who do you think will sign? Realistically, I'm very confident we're going to get De Ligt, Mazraoui and Ugarte. I'm very confident we land all three of De Ligt, Mazraoui and Ugarte. I see that happening. I believe that happening. In regards to other deals, it depends on sales. I think there's going to be 4 signings because I think McTominay is going to be sold. But that 4th signing, I don't know if it's going to be an Amrabat or I don't know if it's going to be Zubimendi, Frenkie de Jong. I don't think it's going to be Frenkie de Jong, but we'll have to wait and see. I think there's a surprise at the end of the window. I do think there's a surprise at the end of the window as well. If Ugarte ends up being a loan to buy, we really need to get that done 100% because that can then give us the funds. For me, best case scenario is you sell McTominay for 30 million, you sell Wan-Bissaka for 3 million, you get De Ligt, you get Mazraoui, and you get Ugarte on loan. And because you've got Ugarte on loan, you've got extra funds to go out and get a second midfielder. Amrabat's great deal at Amrabat, 12 million, cool. But if you could go and get a Zubimendi, or you could go and get an Angelo Stiller, or an Anton Stach, just someone, or Yusuf Fofana type player, that would be the dream. We haven't been linked to all of those, but that would be what I would like to see as well. Frankie's not coming. Yeah, look, I'm going to be honest. Man United have been linked with Frenkie de Jong again today. Do I think Man United are going to get Frenkie de Jong? No. Do I really want to talk about Frenkie de Jong? No. But Barcelona are trying to force Frenkie de Jong out because they want to get Nico Williams in. It's essentially been said that Barcelona are desperate to sell Frenkie de Jong and have offered them to Manchester United. The asking price for Frenkie de Jong is only £35 million, but the issue are his wages. So apparently Barcelona have come to United saying, please buy Frenkie de Jong. We'll sell him to you for 35 million as well. For me, I wouldn't sign Frenkie de Jong because he's on 600,000 euros a week. I mean, why did Barcelona give Frenkie de Jong so much money? Like, does anyone actually know what went on at Barcelona to why Frenkie de Jong got that much money? I know he's a good player, but why did they give him 600k a week? Like, seriously, 600k a week. Like, we're not even stupid enough to do that. Like, we've given out some crazy wages, but 600k a week. What possessed Barcelona to do that? Frenkie de Jong's situation can't be great at Barca, but if he leaves, he's probably going to go elsewhere. We're not in the Champions League, so you know how Frankie feels about the Champions League. 600k includes back pay they owe him. He isn't on that base salary. Yeah, good point. It's like double wages because they did not pay him for a year. Oh right, yeah, I was going to say it's just mad, and you can't blame United for not wanting to pay de Jong's deferred wages. You know, back 2 years ago as well. Like Frenkie de Jong for 35 million. If we let's say, okay, all I'm saying is, if Frenkie de Jong came to Man United and said, Erik ten Hag, I really want to come to United. I will join for 200k a week. And Barcelona are going to sell me for 35 million and get Frenkie de Jong. If Barcelona say, look, we're willing to sell Frenkie de Jong for £35 million, and Frenkie de Jong says, I want to come, and I'll take a wage cut 200k a week, Barcelona will pay the deferred wages. Bish, bash, bosh. Sign Frenkie de Jong. But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Like, that's just the truth in the story. It's not going to happen. I'm going to get some more news back on the screen, people. Please do go ahead and hit the likes. How close are we to the 500 like target? That would be awesome if we can hit that. We are also 7 subscribers away from 87.9k, so please do subscribe if you're new. But going back into some of the news that has been going about in regards to United midfield, we've been told by the Muppeteers United checked again for Brownthwaite, but they're focusing on De Ligt. It was also said by Romano, De Ligt and Mazraoui's camp are positive they will end up joining United. There's confidence that we will sign De Ligt and Mazraoui, but some patience is needed. It's been said on Wan-Bissaka that West Ham are pushing to finalise a deal with Manchester United over the signing of Wan-Bissaka. The clubs are getting closer to an agreement on the fee and structure. Personal sense of Wan-Bissaka are not expected to be a problem. And Wan-Bissaka is demanding millions from Manchester United to leave the club as he could get a signing bonus next summer. His representatives are pushing for United to give him a portion of the transfer fee as well. So the problem with Wan-Bissaka is we're selling Wan-Bissaka, we're close to selling Wan-Bissaka, but he's got 1 year left on his deal and wants a bit of money. Now, this isn't a position like Maguire, where Maguire's on like 8 million a year. Wan-Bissaka's only on about 4 million a year. So it might be a situation where we get 15 million from Wan-Bissaka and we have to give him like $1.5 million. It's a little bit annoying. When we actually went to sell McTominay to West Ham, we offered, Maguire. Now, I don't know how reliable this was. I think it was like the Mirror or the Sun that reported it, but last summer, we agreed a 30 million sale for Maguire to go to West Ham. Maguire didn't want to go to West Ham because of the money he'd lose in wages. So Man United actually offered Maguire a 4 million payout, but Maguire, I think, wanted like 12 million, apparently. Again, don't know how true that is. So obviously he didn't go and United weren't going to give him a 12 million payout. I think Wan-Bissaka would definitely take $1 million payout, and I think that can be done and that can get over the line as well. Big up everybody, we did it, the 500 like target. You guys are absolutely amazing as well. We need a tenacious physical type player next to Kobe. I think Ugarte is a destroyer and can be a good partner for Kobe, but I just look at it and I just think with Casemiro having a lot of question marks around him and the lack of depth, I just think if we can get Ugarte and then push for Fofana, or then just push for someone else, that's what I'd like to see. Anton Stach or someone. The thing is, as well, is Kobe Mainoo's our only technical midfielder, so I'm almost like Angelo Stiller, but it's just like we're not. I don't know if we're in for them. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think it's going to be Ugarte and Amrabat. If we sign 2 midfielders, I think it's going to be Ugarte and Amrabat in total honesty with you guys as well. Alice, any more updates coming in? Well, look, I'll obviously do a 10-minute roundup show tonight as well. But look, Man United are willing to sell McTominay. McTominay's willing to leave United. There has been big advancements in Ligt and Mazraoui. Wan-Bissaka is expected to go. Mainoo and Shaw are expected to start against City as well, was an interesting story. And then also United could get money if they sell the rights to their stadium as well. Obviously, Snapdragon being a sponsor. So there's a couple other stories going in as well. Please don't bid for my Adam Wharton. Did anyone else hear that story? I almost got trolled. The Liverpool Echo put out a story that Adam Wharton had been charged with robbery. And I was like, wait, what? And then you click on it and it goes Adam Wharton, 28, and it's just a completely different guy. It's not the footballer Adam Wharton. You talk of clickbait. They put out an article that Adam Wharton had been charged with robbery. But, you know, there's only one Adam Wharton. He plays for Palace. And you click on it and it's just another kid called Adam Wharton that's 28 and it's not even the footballer. I was like, wait, what? That absolutely trolled me this morning. I was like, what's going on? Casemiro's wages justify letting him go very much on the cheap, exactly. But I would love Wharton. I would love Eze. I would love Elise. I would love Gay. I would like half of Palace's squad. And look, as discussed earlier, there is the potential that Man United are going to let Eriksen and Casemiro go for cheaper fees because of their wages. And I think you can't necessarily blame United for doing that. You're on high wages. You know what? We're going to let you go for a cheaper fee. You can't necessarily blame Manchester United for looking to do that or looking to do that kind of business as well. In all honesty as well, Wharton will be next summer a queue of top PL clubs in for him. I think Wharton, he's only been at Palace 6 months. The thing is, the way I look at it is, and I look at this from every big club's perspective, not Man United's perspective, Wharton's had 6 months. Wharton's had 6 months in the Premier League. He's a good player, but he needs a good another year at Palace to develop and also make sure it's just not a 6-month blip. I don't think it is a 6-month blip and all of that. But yeah, Wharton's a next summer signing. People always talk about Man United going for Wharton and Branthwaite next summer. I mean, look, if Wharton and Branthwaite both have good seasons, they could be next summer signings as well. Definitely. But yeah, Fulkrug signing seems to have come out of nowhere. West Ham are winning the chance to win it right now as well. Dougie Freedman is a genius when it comes to business as well. Dougie Freedman absolutely knows his stuff as well. What about the generational talents coming through, the legendary under-18s? Look, we've got some brilliant under-18s. I don't think it will be a class of 92 where they all make it, but we've got a lot of good under-18s. We've got a lot of good players that will be in this season's under-18s as well. I mean, United have got special talents. Amas and sort of Kobe Collier are the most likely to get minutes because of the left-back shortage. Interestingly, actually, I forgot to include this in the slides, but this was reported earlier. I think I just forgot to add it, that Man United are not looking to sign a left-back. Fabrizio Romano came out and said that Man United may prioritise it later in the window, but United have no interest in signing a left-back. And the reason because of that is, one, Malacia is expected back in 2 months. Shaw is fit. But if Mazraoui can play left-back. Now, Wan-Bissaka did play 1 or 2 games at left-back, but Mazraoui can actually play left-back. Do you know what I mean? So the way United are looking at it is saying, well, we've got Harry Amas coming through that is rated highly. If we sign a left-back, it might block the path for Amas. But with Mazraoui, he can play right back and left back, and Delo has a good fitness record. So what United are thinking right now is we should have Malacia. Man United are thinking post-November, they should have Malacia and Luke Shaw available for most of the season. Emergency Mazraoui can play there, but they've got Harry Amas there. So I think because of Harry Amas showing promise, even though he's not 100% ready showing promise, and the fact that Mazraoui can play left back and right back, it has been said that United aren't super bothered about potentially bringing in someone else for left back. And I think it could be Mazraoui, De Ligt, Ugarte, McTominay sold, second midfield signing. I think that's what it could be as well. There is a rumour about Man United like trying to include Antony in the swap deal for De Jong, but Barcelona don't want Antony. The nonsense. I mean, if you believe that nonsense, this is why I saved the De Jong talk to the end of the live stream. De Jong will not go to United. Okay, Man United got offered De Jong for 35 million. He is not coming. There's a rumour that we could involve Anthony in a deal for De Jong. It's nonsense. It's just nonsense. It's not worth it. It is nonsense. The way it is McTominay and Wan-Bissaka sales are in talks. Man United have agreements with Ligt, Ugarte and Mazraoui. They want those 3 players. They're waiting on the sales of other players. That's what's happening right now. We just got to be patient. We've looked at this player, we've looked at that player, we may make a shock move here, we may make a shock move there. We're signing some great youngsters as well on the cheap. That's what's going on at Man United. That is the truth, if I'm going to be honest with everything going on. But anyway, people, please do hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. I should be back around 10 p.m. tonight with the 10-minute Man United transfer roundups. If you want to stay up to date with all the latest news and any news that comes in the next few hours, I'll be back tonight. Please do subscribe down below if you're new. We did hit the 500 like target, but we're still 7 subscribers away from 87.9k. So please do subscribe if you're new. Thank you for watching. Bye.